Perfect. Okay, hello, happy Friday. We have a lower body session today. We're gonna focus on our legs, lower body strength, and we have a nice, spicy, sweaty conditioning circuit that we are going to finish with. I got a couple more hopping in here. Okay, so let's start off with this warm up. We will not need any equipment except our body and our mat. And then for the exercises themselves, I am going to be using this stuff over here, 8-pound dumbbells, loop bands, and this towel sliding on the floor as we do best on a Friday. We're going to be doing some hamstring curls, some extensions, and yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff when we get there. But grab it if you need it, and we are starting this session down on the floor. I got one more coming in here. Okay, so let's get you guys started with joining me down here on the floor, laying on our back. Best way to start a leg day. We're gonna lay down here. I'm talking all the way down, arms down, legs down. We'll lift up one leg, grab that knee with opposite hand. With a nice exhale, we'll pull it all the way over, getting it as close as we can to the floor. Not quite close enough, but that's okay. We'll come back up to the top and we'll bring it up on the other side, going through 5 per side, 10 total. Now, again, these first few, you might not be able to touch the floor, or you might be able to touch the floor. But as we go through the reps, the goal is to get a little bit closer. So we're going through 5 per side and trying to keep this opposite hand down, working with whatever situation we got going on at this time in our lives. We might be feeling a little bit tighter than usual, as this is the first thing. So we'll get through 10 of those, and then we shall flip around. So don't go too far. We're going to flip on over into a plank position. High plank, hands on the toes after we completed 10, 5 per side of those ones. This next one, we are shooting our hips up into the ceiling. When we reach this top point, we'll drop one heel, bending the opposite knee, right side, left side. We'll go through 10 of those total, 5 per side, and then we'll drop those hips back down to the plank, lifting them back up and going through 5 of these total. So we're taking our time, again, opposite heel, opposite knee, 5 per side, 10 total. And then, sorry about that, we will get through 5 of those. That is our second one and last one on the floor for now. We will be back down there, but once you've completed 5 complete cycles of that, we will stand ourselves up to the top. And come on back up here and join me in a squat stance. So we're going to widen up our feet a little wider than our hips, toes slightly pointed out to the sides. We'll take our hands and put them behind our back, working with these prisoner squats where we're trying to push our knees out to the sides, keeping our elbows lifted up, chest up, 10 of them total, getting down 90 degrees or even a little bit below 90 degrees, seeing if we can really get down here, working again with whatever range we have. So 90, maybe a bit above. We'll go through 10 reps total of those ones with those hands staying behind our back. There we go. Following that one, we're going to take those hands and stick them above our heads and follow through 10 overhead squats after we go through those prisoner ones. So with these ones here, we're trying to keep the arms straight so that we never actually see our hands with our eyeballs because the arms stay so lifted above the head. So we'll go through 10 of these. This one, you'll feel some work happening in that upper and mid back from having to keep those arms up and straight. So we'll go through those ones, 10 of them. Very nice. Overhead squats. There you go. Nice straight arms. Very good. All right, so on to the next one. We'll bring ourselves to the very front of our mat, standing hip width or shoulder width apart in the feet. We're going to cross the arms over like this. So they're stacked on top. We'll step back into a lunge. When we get to the bottom, we're going to turn in once, reset, and then stand up to the top, alternating legs, one side, and then the other side, keeping those arms still, again, chest up. We'll go through 10 of these total, 5 per side. Sorry, guys, you get going through those. Yeah, so do you mind just putting her closing that door, locking her in that room? we're asking this person to. Oh, sorry, she keeps coming up. Lexi's out. Okay, thank you. Tanisha, sorry. Woo! I got my one dog in the kitchen. She has a cone on because she just had surgery, and then the other one got in there. Okay, we are good. So when we are finished those ones, the next one is back down on the floor. So come on back down here. Join me on your back in a dead bug position. This next one's all about core activation. So we're going to lift our arms and legs into this position, 90 degrees at the knees, straight arms coming out of those shoulders. We'll drop opposite hand, opposite knee to this normal dead bug. Going through 10 total, 5 per side. Trying to keep that low back down and keep these two limbs from not moving. So we'll get through those 10 total, 5 per side on these ones. And once you're done, don't go anywhere because we have 2 more down here that we are going to do. Okay, so 10. Completing those 10, we'll take both of our hands like this. Put them on the same side on the top of the leg here, on the top of the knee. And what we're going to do is think about squeezing those two together, bringing the hands and knees together, lower back into the floor, and you'll feel this going on in your core. So what we're going to do is hold that for 1, 2, and then we'll release, but not actually let go of our hands and knees. We'll just release the pressure. And then we'll again exhale, push them together. 1, 2, and then we'll release, and we'll do that 10 times total. So another one, again, that's all about core activation. You should feel this all up in your abs and all around there. This one's quite foolproof, especially if you are keeping your low back down, which is very important on this one. So we'll go through 10 of those, again, with a 2-second hold on that one. Warming it up, and then we are back up for our last one. For our last warm-up move before we start some of these strength exercises. So this final one here, we are going to incorporate a little bit of balance work, a little bit of activation through the back of the leg and the glute. We have a single leg deadlift that we are going to be working through. Tapping into that balance, we want that soft knee standing on one leg to start. We're going to push our hips back. At the same time, I'll extend my leg out and my arms are going to reach above my head so I end up hopefully straight. Can I see myself? Yes. And then we will stand ourselves up, driving our arms in and our knee up to the top, not touching this leg or foot down. And that's 1. And we will do 10 of these per side. And we have 2 sets total. So we're going 10 on this side. It's actually quite challenging to look to the side and talk to you guys and do this and face you. 10 on this side. And then we'll switch and do 10 over here. And we want to do that twice. So we'll go through 10, 10, 2 rounds total. Again, feeling back of the legs, your glutes working to stand yourselves up. And then, of course, our balance is going on here. Good morning, all the little muscles in your feet, in your legs. So we'll get those going on both sides. 10, 10, 2 rounds total. And then we are going to get you started. First exercise, that is. Okay. So we'll let you guys finish up there. As you are coming to an end, we can grab ourselves some water, walk the arms. If you need to grab any of that equipment that I mentioned at the very beginning, now would be your time to shine once you are finished those deadlifts, because we are going to stretch it off with 3 exercises. We have a tricep to start. So we're going to be focusing on 2 strength-based movements, and then we have 1 sort of more activation-based movement. What we're going to need is that towel, these dumbbells, if you have them, preferably something kind of on the heavier side. We are going to be starting off with a sumo deadlift. And I want to say that so that you can grab your appropriate weight. If you are going to grab, your heavier set of dumbbells, if you have them, or maybe you just have 1 set like me, and that's completely fine too. But that is going to be our first movement, is our sumo deadlift, okay? So you do not have dumbbells. What you can do is grab your glute bands or long bands. We can stand on those long bands or add these glute bands around our knees and follow through just with no weight involved, okay? But that is the first part. Second part that you will need is that towel, okay? That one that's slides on the floor. We are going to be using it for some 3-point extensions, a little bit something like this. And so you'll want to create some space that you can use to slide on the floor, okay? And then, yeah, the last one, you will need your weights. So let's start off and talk about this very first one, which is our sumo deadlift. So this is the first one we're going to go through. I'm going to have this wider set stance, wider than my squat, toes slightly pointed out situation in my feet. I have my weights in my hands here, preferably 2 dumbbells, heavier ones if you have them. And we want to hold them palms facing each other here so that the dumbbells are sort of like this, rather than like this. That gives us a bit more room in between our legs. We're going to start off by pushing the hips back. Soft knees. As soon as those weights are above our knees, we start to bend the knees and sink into that deadlift. And then we'll stand and pull ourselves right up and out of that. That's 1. And we are going through 12 of these. So you can start your first set with me here. We do have 2 more exercises going on with this one, but this is where we are starting. So we will get through 12 reps total. Now this is a deadlift. So what we're looking for is pushing the hips back behind us, reaching them back to the wall, trying to keep your shin as upright as possible. We don't want the knees pushing forward, but rather we want to let the butt out, push the hips back, okay? So we'll go through 12 of those. Again, if you do not have weights, you can grab onto some bands and work with this sort of sumo squat style banded situation here, and you can go through your 12 reps, okay? But ideally we want some dumbbells, a bar, something that you can hold in your hands. So that is our very first one, okay? The second one, we have not talked about it yet, okay? That 3-point extension is our last one that we are going to do. This second one is going to be our step back lunge with our weights front loaded right up here. So we're going to grab onto those dumbbells, preferably maybe the same ones if you can, if not maybe a little bit lighter. You can always also put one down and hold one sideways like this if you need to. But we want to try to avoid resting those dumbbells on our shoulders and chest as we step back into a lunge and then step forward, and I'm alternating legs. So I go right side and then I come up, and then left side and we come up, and we're doing 10 per side, 20 reps total of those ones. So let's do it. Okay, first round, and trying to keep the chest up, alternating legs. So right leg and then switch, left leg, 20 total, 10 per side of the lunges with the upright weights, which we know makes this whole lunge feel a lot more challenging. Just holding those weights up there is a challenge in itself, okay? We're involving our upper body, which you probably maybe you've been feeling from the last couple days, as well as our core, especially if we are keeping those weights hovering and lifted rather than resting on our shoulders. So let's get through those 20, 10 per side, and then we have our final one, which is this 3-point extension. So what I'm going to do is put that towel, that slider, whatever you're using underneath your foot. If you don't have this, you're working on a non-slippery floor, you're just going to work with something like this, where we just lightly tap that foot rather than slide. But same rules apply. Standing tall, soft knee. We'll push the hips back so that we feel loaded in this hip, pushing out to the side, out on a 45, and then back behind us, hitting those 3 points with a little bit more room. So 1, 2, and then 3. Counting every rep, we'll be doing 15 over on this side. So we really should feel this standing leg. This one is kind of interesting because when you see it, it looks like it should be this moving leg that we feel the work, but it's actually the standing leg that's getting the work in the hip and your glute from staying still and stable as we go through those extensions. So standing leg, a burn, and then we switch and do it on the other side. Okay, 15, and every one of those is a rep, all right? Not 15 cycles. We'd be here all day doing these extensions. 15 total, and then once we're finished, we'll take about 30 seconds of rest, okay? You're probably feeling your hips, your glutes, so we'll just think about that for a second, grab ourselves some water, okay, walk around a little bit, and then we will go through 3 more rounds of this very fun stuff, okay? Starting back off with our first one, our sumo deadlifts, all right? So take this rest. The rest is here for a reason, okay? Because all of these exercises do work a lot of the similar muscles, not the exact same, but we have a lot of focus on your butt, your glutes, your hips, back of the legs. So we do want to allow to give that a bit of time to rest. We have this 30 seconds, maybe 45, okay, but we'll try to keep it under a minute. And then we shall go into our second set, okay? So back into this first one. Sumo deadlifts, hips back behind us. I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see what's going on here. We want to push the hips back, 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 back until the weights are right above our knees, and then we bend, and you can see that my knees stay up. They don't push forward. I'm not doing a squat. We want to keep the hips lifted, and then we'll pull up and forward. And if you can do that, you'll get more focus on the hamstrings and the glutes rather than the front of the legs, the quads, and kind of more around the knees. It's not the goal here. We're looking for the back of the legs, back of the hips. Oh, yeah. Okay, you have 12 reps to see if you can get that going on. The sumo deadlift. I feel like we've been kind of having these in and out of the program. We've been incorporating some other exercises, some new stuff, but these are a classic and these are a staple, so hopefully you're feeling good and strong in them as we go through our 12. Get to 12. Okay, so we are going through our second set. Final couple reps of those deadlifts, okay? And then we will get going on to our front-loaded step back lunges. Okay, so we'll grab onto those weights. Dumbbells, load them up, and we will go through our set. And again, alternating legs, right side and left side, trying our best to get all the way down to 90 degrees. In your body, it's always wanting to make stuff easier. And something that it does is it doesn't really ever want to go that full range of motion. So in our squats and our lunges, we always talk about 90 degrees. And so that's important in the lunge, just as it is in the squat, that we are getting all the way down to that 90-degree point. We can even take this a little further if you do want to make these a bit harder, and maybe step forward so there's a bit of mat on the floor, and you can step all the way back so that you even touch the floor. Not like touch and relax, but that if you can feel this back knee just make contact, then you know you went all the way down, maybe even a little lower than you normally go, and it's going to make your entire set feel a lot more challenging on those legs, which is something you might want. So we can think about that here on our next set. We have 2 more. And of course, finishing off with our extensions. So we're again trying to stay as loaded as we can. In this hip, we have some balance action going on. Trying to hit those 3 points and out to the side, back on that 45, and then back behind this hip. So we'll go through our 15 of those ones. There you are. Okay, so we'll take this rest. Take it, use it, drink some water, listen to my dog in the other room howling. I don't know if you guys can hear her. It's all good. Okay, so we are going to go through our third set, my friends. We have 2 more to go of these 3 wonderful exercises. Okay, so back to our sumo deadlifts, second last set. All right, so we'll try again our best. Make these feel challenging. We want to feel what's going on here. Okay, back of the legs and back of the hips. Every rep, we want to think about building up. As we go down into that rep, we're looking for that stretch. We're creating tension in the back of the legs and your glutes. When we get down to the bottom here, we want to squeeze and contract the glutes and start to stand up, squeezing our butt, starting at the bottom. Okay, so this applies to the deadlifts just as much as the squats. If we can do that and really be active in our leg muscles, we're going to get much more out of this than if we don't, and if we just kind of, go up and down. Especially because most of us are working with a little something that might be a bit too light from what we would normally use on this deadlift for our 12 reps. There we go. All right. Very nice. So we'll get through our third set. Woo! Lunges. Okay, alternating 1 to 2 reps total. All right. So again, trying to get all the way down. 20. Very nice. Front-loaded weights. Oh yes. Now you've seen what I'm talking about. You know, you feel like you might want to rest them on your shoulders because it feels kind of relaxing and easier. But oh, you remember I said I wanted you to keep them lifted, and I try not to do that. A little easier said than done, as per usual. Okay, so we're going to get through our extensions, our slider extensions or towel, and then we have one final set of these ones before we move on to the next ones. Okay, so again, with this one, the setup is super important. Okay? Because if you're not setting up properly, you're just kind of like bending down and going through your set, you're not going to feel this, okay, in the back of the hip, in the back of the glute. So let's get that feeling before we even start our set. Okay, soft knee is important because we don't want a locked out joint like that. And then we want to push the hips back. And that pushed back feeling, you should start to feel that hip being loaded up, and then we shift all the weight into it, and that whole entire set. Okay, we should feel work on that standing leg. So if you're not getting that, well, you have one more chance to do so for yourself, okay? Because we have one more round here. We're going to take about 3, maybe 4 more minutes. Okay, so finish up this set, rest, and then we will get going on our final round. 3. Great. Leggies. All right, we are almost done here. We have one more set. Take this rest. 30, maybe 45 seconds, maybe a little bit longer at this time in our lives. And then we will get going on to our final set. So we have about 3 minutes until we should be starting our last part, okay? So if you have not started your last set of this first tricep that we're doing, then you should get going on it, okay? Within the next 30 seconds, so that we can get through it. We have enough time to finish. Very nice. Okay, so last set. It's how we doing? So good. Let's get it. Let's get the deadlifts. Very nice. Okay. So last round. 12, 10 per side, and 15. And then we are done here. Woo! On these ones. We're not all the way done, but you already knew that. All right. So again, we'll start that final set. You should be finishing up your deadlifts at least, maybe starting off on your lunges. Okay. To our last set, taking our sweet time with it so that we get the most out of it. We don't want to rush our final set. We only have about 2 minutes. It's okay if it takes you that, maybe even a little longer. And these cows. I want you guys to finish strong on these ones. Last set. Okay, so we'll get in our lunges, last of our extensions, and focusing on that strong hips back setup so that we feel that work the entire set, every single rep. Even when you're not doing a rep, okay, we should still feel loaded in the back of the hips and in these muscles in the back of the legs. And that is completely on you. Unfortunately, I can only kind of tell you and explain how to do it, but I cannot help you do it. You have to kind of help yourself in using those little cues and tweaks to feel that, because the feeling is the most important. Last set, okay, you have 1 more minute to finish up, which is pretty much just enough time, all right? So we'll get through our lunges get through that last set of those extensions. And then as we are coming to an end, if you are already done, you can grab yourself some water and keep all your stuff because we are going to need it all for the next part, okay, which is going to use the slider again, the towel, and the floor, and your hamstrings. We're going to be doing some hamstring curls. Okay. So, yes. You guys are done. Awesome. Okay, so we'll finish up here. Give you about 30 more seconds to do that. We are going to move on to our next part here, which is all about the hamstrings, okay, which is a big group of muscles that runs down the back of our thighs, our legs. We talk about these because they can be very weak and underused muscles compared to the front of the legs, the quads, just because life, everything we do in life uses these guys, not so much these ones. So we are going to do 2 exercises focusing on these. The first one is going to be a supported single leg deadlift. So the single leg deadlift, we did some variations of that in the warm up with that back leg going with the balance. We're going to take the balance out of the picture. So that is good news to all of us. You don't have to think about balance. What we're going to do is use the weights, your weights in your hands, standing, shifting the weight onto that one leg. We'll move the ball of the foot beside the heel of that standing working leg. We want to make sure the knee is soft, the weights are close to the body, and we're pushing the hips back behind us, and then we'll pull the hips up. Going through 15, nice high rep range, focusing on this front standing leg. This one here is just a kickstand, okay? So sometimes we call this the staggered stance or the kickstand deadlift, and that is exactly what it is. So we're trying to use that leg to just support our balance, and we're going through 15 reps. So you can start run now with us right here, and focusing on hips back, hips forward, rather than bringing your body down, okay? If you don't have dumbbells, you probably have bands, so we can loop our band around our opposite foot, and then you can go through your set with that band instead of your dumbbells. All right, very nice. Hey, no balance involved. We've done this one before in lots of different versions. Sometimes we have our foot up on our chair or our bench. Similar, pretty much the same, just different because we're not using the chair, okay? But it is essentially a single leg deadlift. So we should feel all this work on one side at a time. So that's our first one. We are going to get through that on both sides. And then with this one, we have a hamstring curl, which is preferably done on our back with that slider or towel underneath our heels, laying on our back, pulling in our heels towards the back of our hips. That being said, not all of us have this as an option, okay? So we have a couple other ways we can do this. The second way is body weight. It is also laying on our back. And then the third way is using a dumbbell and laying it up like this, laying on our tummy, grabbing that dumbbell between our feet and going through our hamstring curls. So that's option number 3, because ideally I want you guys to work with your body weight and your slider. But it is an option because some of us don't have the slider or a floor that accommodates for a slider, okay? So I'll talk about this after we go over this towel version. So once you're finished those deadlifts, you can come on down here onto the floor into this position here. Heels are over top of that towel. Lower backs into the floor. We're going to push our hips up into a bridge. Send those heels out while keeping your feet pointed up towards your face. And then we can try to pull in our heels. Okay, if that's not happening or if it feels unsafe back there in the hamstrings, we'll let them out. We'll relax the hips, pull them in, and then we'll push them back up. And we'll get that work as we slowly let those heels out. So we're doing 15 of these, all right? So you can try to do them with your butt up, but if it's too challenging, then I want you to come back to this. Hips up, let them out, reset, and go through your 15. Or you might even be able to get like maybe 3 or 5 with the butt up, and then maybe you have to go down to this one after, and that's okay. If you don't have that towel, you don't have the dumbbell, what you can do is our extended bridge. So we have our legs a bit further out than our normal bridge, and then we can go through up and down with the hips, counting out 15. And because our feet are kind of further away than normal, we'll feel that work in the hamstrings. Okay, 15 of them. So the last option is going to be our hamstring curl using this here dumbbell. So what we can do is lay down on our tummy like this, grab this guy between our feet like so, and then pull up to 90 degrees, going through our 15 reps total. Now this is a great exercise, but it is definitely not going to be as demanding as our body weight one, with the towel, with the slider, which is why I say if you have it, do it, all right? Once you're done, we are standing back up to the top and doing it again, okay? We will take a little bit of rest, about 30 to 45 seconds, same style of rest as we did in the beginning, and then we will get to it again, all right? So back to our staggered stance or kickstand deadlifts. All right, back to the first one. Okay, heel, ball of the foot where the heel is, and we will go through our set. And you guys have 3 sets total of this very fun stuff. Okay, so we did 1, and we need 2 more. 3 rounds total. I know we're really used to our 4 sets, but today we're doing 3, and we're doing that because these sets are very high volume. We have a lot of reps going on, and a lot of hamstring focus. Okay, so 3 rounds. You just did 1. We'll get through 2 more, and then we are moving on to the last part of our strength after this. And then we have our conditioning. Saving it for last today. Okay. Awesome. So second set. Going through in our staggered stance deadlifts, thinking about that standing leg, the entire foot on the floor. That's the working leg. So we're trying to push the hips back, pull them forward, and keep all of the weight in this leg. All this one's doing is just helping with our balance. There we go. Okay, so hamstring curls. Second set, 15. And also, you guys, you are also going to have to bear with me because there is a furnace guy here. So if you hear a little banging around down there, like that, it's because they are currently fixing the furnace in the house, which is completely broken and leaking some sort of gas or something. So good thing they're here, but bad timing. But it's okay because we are flexible and we're going to deal with it. All right, so the second set of those hamstring curls, we'll get through 15 reps of them. Again, safety is first on these. That's why I always kind of talk about safety, especially when it comes down to the hamstrings, especially on something like this curl down here, because we're all at different levels. And for some people, it's going to be no problemo, whereas for others, if you haven't done anything like this, or you haven't used like a ball to do it or like sliders, this is going to be very challenging, if not borderline unsafe, because your hamstrings won't be used to it, okay? So feel it out. That sharp, pinchy pain is what we're trying to avoid. That dull, aching sensation, that dull pain, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for, okay? So you can work through that. So we'll take this rest so that we can have a nice, strong, solid final set, and this is going to be the last set of these 2. So back to the first one, our staggered deadlifts. Per side, 15 curls, and then we're moving on to the last strength exercises. Not too bad. Okay, so we'll take the rest, grab some water, walk it off, think about what we're feeling in the back of the legs, and then we will go through our final set of these 2. We have about 3 minutes until we should be starting our final strength part. Just plenty of time to get through this and to get through the last one. Okay. All right. So last set. 15. Again, trying to take our time. We know that slowing down always makes these strength exercises harder, especially when we're returning to our start position or we're lowering down. So take your time. Keep it even on both sides. Take about 2 more minutes to finish her up, and then we'll move on to the last parts of the strength. Okay, so we'll get these in, finishing strong on the hamstrings. How are we doing? So good, so good. All right. This is it. 15 reps on these curls, and then we shall be moving on. So we'll take about 1 more minute to finish up. And then if you're done a little bit early or vice versa, you can just grab some water once you're finished and keep doing your thing here. Take all your 15 reps. All right. So the next part, the last part. We have 2 exercises coming at you after this. Once you are finished with this stuff, we are done with the towel and the slider. So you can put it away, put it aside. If you want to lay your mat back out, then you can do that too. Because we have them sliding around. All right, so get those curls in. Once you finish, you can grab yourself some water. Check it out. Okay, we have one final part to our strength, which is 2 exercises. We're going to superset 2 movements. The first one is our forward backward lunge. So we've recently been actually incorporating this into our conditioning, into our cardio work. We've been doing a little impact, little jump in between. But today we're going to be doing this with weights in our hands, more with a strength focus. So we want to grab 2 dumbbells, ideally, 1 in each hand, down by our sides. Standing in the center of our mat, we're going to step forward into the lunge, and then we'll push ourselves all the way backward into a lunge, and that's 1. And then we go forward, and then we push ourselves backward, and that's 2. And we'll be doing 8 total. Forward, woo, no balance, okay? 3. So we'll go through those. 8 per side. This is going to be our first one. We're going to have another exercise that we pair this with this one, but just the first one. So let's start with it. We're plugged in, and let's get this done. If you don't have dumbbells, we're just going to go body weight. Hands can go down by your sides or in front of you, and then we'll work with our forward and our backward lunges. Okay, so we're counting just one of these, either the forward or the backward. I usually count the back one. This is where our count will be, okay? Don't confuse yourself and count the forward and the backward. There and back is 1, 8. Over here, and then we switch, and we do 8 on the other side. Over there. There you go. Okay, so we'll get that going on both sides. If you have not started, we will get going forward and the backward. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we'll move through these ones. 8 on each side. There we go. Awesome. You guys doing perfect. Okay, so with this one, we are going to grab those weights again. This time, we will pick them back up into this front-loaded situation. Squat stance in our feet. We're going to sit down, come halfway up, sit back down, all the way up. That's 1. We're doing 8 of them. Okay, so again, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, all the way up. That's 2, and we are doing 8. So same rules apply if you don't have the dumbbells. You can always hold one bow tie style like this, goblet, okay, or if you don't have any, you can go body weight. You can also add that band around the knees if you do want to make this harder and you do not have those dumbbells. So we'll get through these ones with these lunges. We're going back to back between these 3 more times, okay? So from the lunges into our 1, half, all the way down, rep squats, okay? So again, 90 degrees, 45, 90, and then that's one full rep. Okay, 8 of those total. And then we do it again. So like I said, little to no rest in between. We're trying to limit our rest and just go between these back to back with no rest in between. So once you're finished those squats, we can take a deep breath, okay? Grab a sip of water if you want it, but we'll try to go right into our next set, okay? We have 3 more to do, and then that is going to take us right into our last part, which is a nice, short and sweet and spicy, more than sweet, cardio circuit that we are going to do. It's actually not even so much a circuit today. We'll talk about it when we get there, though. Don't get too excited. All right, so we'll get through these second set. And let's do it. Okay, 8 and 8. 8 total. These ones are surprisingly quite challenging. These forward, backward lunges with the weights in our hands. Okay, so if you're finding it's too hard, and especially on the forward lunge, if you kind of have to like step down or you lose your balance, maybe just put the weights down and work with your body weight and try to master that transition, how we're not touching the floor in between our reps. Push ourselves back before you load up on a lot of weight. Okay. All right. So this is the second set. Get through those nice, very tedious squats. I know they are a little bit actually better than the ones we did last day. We did those 5 pulsing rep ones. Ooh, but these ones are potentially just as bad or just as challenging, especially if you are going slow, taking your time and hitting the full range of motions, getting all the way down, coming up to the 45, and then back down, not just kind of doing a little eat or pulse at the bottom, but intentionally going through that extra half a rep. That's what we're looking for, okay? So we'll try to do that here in our next couple sets. We have about 4, maybe 5 minutes to finish up. This is why we are not taking any time between the sets, okay? We want to really hustle getting between our exercises, but in the exercises themselves, that's when we want to take our time, okay? We're not rushing through the movements or the reps themselves, but we are hustling when we're trying to switch between them and get going on our next set. All right, so 2 more rounds. And then I'm just going to make sure on this downtime here that our timer is set for the last part. And they are working down there. Good thing it's the banging's only starting now, right? Not at the very beginning of class, right? Okay, so we'll get through these ones, the lunges, the squats. And then we have 1 more set. Yay. 12. Perfect. Okay. Whew. All right. It's like, me from this can't complain. Happy about it. Just kidding. My mom is more happy. It's her house. All right. So let's get through these squats, my friends. We have 1 more set. Okay, we can handle this, we can do this. We have about 3 minutes to do it. Okay, so we'll take our time. Maybe a little bit of time in there for a sip of water here before you start your final round. Okay, but we will try to hustle and get going here on the last set. So 8 and 8, 8 of those squats, and then we are moving on to the last part. The conditioning, the cardio. Woo. So, yay. Well, that's why I had a 2-minute cool down. Okay. So, our final part here is, do I take us just about 10 minutes, which is quite short and sweet, but it's going to be quite intense, this final part here. So take your time. We have, about 3 minutes until we really should be starting this final part. So we'll get through this last set of the lunges of the squats, and then we're done now. So that is great news. Yay. Very nice. Okay, so last set, let's do it. Final round of these two. And then we'll lunge on into our last set. There it is. Okay, I'll give you about 2 more minutes to finish up your squats. So again, we'll take our time. We're going to be going a little bit slower on this final set, trying to maybe even pause at each of those points. Okay, if you did feel like those last couple sets were a little bit easy, this is what you can do. So again, sit down and hold, and then up and hold, and then back down and hold, and then all the way up. And that's going to be much more challenging than, again, someone who just kind of goes through those points. Okay, so the more time we put under tension on our legs, the more we're working them, so the more we're going to feel them. So let's channel that here in this last set. And no, it's your last set. Yay. Okay, so the last part today, we'll be starting in about 2 minutes, because that is literally the amount of time we have before we will run out of time, or go over time rather, which is all good, but we try not to. This final part here, as you finish up your squats, you can go ahead and put everything out of the way and aside, because this last part is all body weight. The one thing that I did not mention, because it's been a little bit crazy here this morning, but you might want to do is put on your shoes, okay? Because we are going to be doing some jumping stuff. I am wearing these here socks, but if you do want that support for your feet, your ankles, your knees, put on those shoes, okay? All right, so let's start talking about this last part. We're going to be working with our Tabata style intervals. So we have our 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Today, we're switching it up a bit, and we have 2 exercises that we're going to do back to back on this Tabata time format. So we'll be doing exercise A for 20 seconds, as hard as we can, resting for 10 seconds. Exercise B, 20 seconds as hard as we can, resting for 10 seconds, and then we'll be repeating that 8 times total, okay? So we know that normal Tabata round takes us about 4 minutes, so this is going to take us 8 minutes, okay? Which doesn't sound too bad until I tell you what the first exercise is, which is our full-on burpees, okay? So we've done the athletic burpee, we've mastered the athletic burpee, I should say. But today, what we're going to work on is going all the way down onto the floor, coming all the way up, okay, like this. So that's going to be you for your first 20 seconds. Then we'll take 10 seconds of rest. And then our second one that we're going to do is a toe tap. So we're just going to tap our toes on something for that second 20 seconds. And we'll rest for 10, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, it will when we start on this timer. So quickly, I want to talk about our low impact burpee, because some of us don't jump. That's completely fine. So instead, you're going to step out, down to the floor, push up. Step in, woo, at the top, okay? So let's get you guys started on this one. Are you ready? Well, ready or not, we're gonna get going in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's do it, okay? First set. So we're all the way down to the floor. We have that little sneaky push-up action in there at the bottom by having to go all the way down to the floor. So that is part of it. 3, 2, 1. And rest. Okay, that wasn't so bad. What was that, like 3, maybe 4 burpees? Not too bad. Next one's our toe taps. So you can find an object to tap your toes on, like your wall, okay? Or you can just use your mat. If you're low impact, you want a nice quick march, you can even sub for a knee to elbow instead, which is going to just overall maybe get your get the heart rate up a little bit higher than simply just kind of tapping in front of you if you're not jumping, okay? And time. That was our first set. Not too bad. We have to do it 7 more times. That sounds kind of bad, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. Here we go. Second round burpees. Let's go. We're trying to get the same number as we got in that first set. So maybe you got 3, maybe you got 5, okay? Whatever your number is, if you want to count, you don't have to, but it will help you stay consistent in your next 6 sets that you have to do after this. Rest. Nice job. Okay, so we're breathing. 10 seconds. Getting ourselves up off the floor. Ready for the toe taps. Let's go. So we're trying to move our feet as fast as possible. We're kind of leaning back slightly and reaching our feet in front of us, tapping our toes. 10 seconds left. This one can be super easy, right? The toe taps. It can also be super hard if you are going fast, pushing yourself. Rest, okay, which is what we need on our next 6 sets. Back to the first one, burpees, and go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Very nice, my friends. Oh, the sneaky push-up. There it is on a Friday. All right, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we got the toe taps coming up next. So the harder you can push yourself right now in this, the higher you can get your heart rate, the more benefit that you will get from this, okay? So let's go, and let's try to move faster, move quicker than we want to go, okay? Get that uncomfortable feeling going in our lungs and our heart. You know the one I'm talking about, that uncomfortable cardio feeling. And that's something that you have to push yourself to achieve. Even in these kind of simple exercises, you just got to go faster. Time, okay? The burpees, I mean, not something that you have to really think about so much, except for just, again, trying to go as quickly as you can. Here we go. On to set number 3. Woohoo! This is actually set number 4. Yes, so this is going to take us to our halfway point through this little Tabata circuit. 3, 2, 1, and nice job. There you go. Okay. Breathing. 3, 2, and let's go. Okay, breaking up those toe taps. Again, trying to move the arms. Eventually we can move our straight arms. We keep them bent, but we will try to involve them. 10 seconds left. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was our set number 4. Okay, so we have 4 more to go, and then we are done here. All right, burpees, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, short and sweet. And you see why it's short and spicy. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and all right. All right. Nice work. Toe taps. It's funny because it's like 20 seconds. It's like not a lot of time at all to get these burpees in, but it's like enough time to to do them. To make them feel hard, like you want to stop. All right, so let's get through these toe taps. Set number 5, my friends. We have 3 more after this, and then we are done. 3, 2, 1. Okay. 3 more sets. We got this. We do. Ready? And let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I know you really don't want to go, but this is your time to shine, okay? You're almost there. Before you know it, we're going to be done. And you don't want to finish kind of knowing that you slacked off and you didn't really do what you could, okay? So whatever it is, I want you to push yourself right here, right now. 3, 2, 1. Just look at this. You got this nice 10 seconds of rest, okay? You want to earn the rest. Toe taps. And let's go. Let's work it here on our 3rd last set. Toe taps, toe taps, toe taps. There you go. Move the arms, move the legs. We got it going on. Okay, a little bit faster than you want to go. Yep. 3, 2, 1, and 2 more rounds. Okay, we got this. You only have to do this burpees 2 more sets. 20 seconds each. Let's go, okay? Second last time you're here, let's do this, okay? Trying to get that chest down to the floor, all the way down to the floor. Get as many as you can, which I know is not a lot in this short amount of time, but even if we're going for 5, that's amazing in this amount of time, okay? 3, 2, and time. All right, we got our toe taps, and then our last set. Wow. Look at us go. All right, and let's do it. Okay, toe taps into our second last set here. And we'll move the arms, try to move our feet a little bit quicker, a bit more active and together. So everything's coordinated, your hands and your feet. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yes. This is it. This is it. Our last set, okay? So let's see if we can get 5 burpees. It's not going to be easy. No, but it's possible. Go. But you got to hustle for them. Like really push yourself for them to get that 5, okay? I mean, some of us won't be able to get 6, and that's amazing. But 5 is what I want you to go for here. Okay, let's go, let's go. Last one. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay. Feels nice that those are done. We have our last set of the toe taps. And then we are finished. All right, let's go. Final round, 20 seconds. Toe tapping your way to the finish line. Yes, and then we will be walking it off for the last time. It's nice and loud in here. 10 seconds, let's go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice. And then give us a nice bang out. You guys are done. Okay. Amazing work, my friends. So we're going to walk it off, rest, recover, let that heart rate come down. Take a couple minutes to yourself right now to just breathe and to walk around the space that you have. Okay. We're almost there. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to leave you guys with a couple of stretches. Okay. And it's getting really crazy in here right now. So just bear with me and you can just kind of watch me here. It's crazy here. But what we need to focus today, back of the legs. Okay. So when you feel okay, you can come onto your back and do a little bit of this. Okay. Give me a break, you guys. There we go. So we'll hold this right here. Get about 60 seconds per side. We'll do a minute over here, a minute on the other side, okay? Once you're done, 60 seconds on each, we can finish off with a little bit of this. Okay, a little bit of back of the legs, lower back, stretching that out there. And then finally, hopefully you guys are following along. We can spend a bit of time in this one here. Okay, loosening up our lower back of the hips, back of the legs. And we can hang out there. Okay, are they done now? Probably not, but we are. Okay, thank you guys so much. So you guys are all awesome for coming and joining me in the Zoom room, joining me on a Friday. Hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you feel worked and ready for the weekend. Have a great day, you guys. I will see you all on Monday for our leg day. Have a great weekend. And if you are watching the replay, please drop a comment so I know you're here. And I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.